track and field explodes on the scene with the men's 100-meter final. From Havana to the other side of the island in gymnastics for another U.S.-Cuban shootout. And we finally get a look at the renowned Cubans in baseball, the best amateur team on the globe, starring tonight at the Pan Am Games on TNT.
Monday night in Havana. Start of the work week. For us, fun and games.
Eric Lopez, a rising star at a 10 in the vault. In the compulsories, now here in the optionals on the high bar.
Boy, and this young man is really talented. He's only 21 years old. He has a very high level of difficulty in his routines, and he's been very calm and collected as a competitor. Oh, what a move! That's the Gaylord 2 invented by Mitch Gaylord, and he had it till that one right hand just peeled off.
What's critical about that, he was second in the all-around going into this final event.
Oh my gosh, look at the height on those release moves. It's one thing about the Cuban team. They have the ability to really wow the judges with big difficulty. How about that dismount?
Double twisting, double back. A lot of difficulty in that routine. And though it's not really critical for the Cubans, their first guy up had a fall as well, Damian Marino.
Ended up with an 8-3 because of that. Now, to state again, Aguilera is leading in the all-around at 107.50, and Lopez at 107, so he was right behind, but that could hurt him after that difficulty.
Let's take a look at that Gaylord 2. It's basically a double backflip over the bar with a half twist, invented by Mitch Gaylord from the U.S. team. Here it comes. He goes over the bar backwards and grabs, but look, his right hand doesn't quite get the bar. It's amazing he held on with his left hand. That will be a major deduction, of course, but it's hard to believe he even stayed on the bar.
Boy, you can see from this angle exactly how he missed. He actually landed on his forearms first and just couldn't get the hand on.
Wow, what grip strength.
He was determined. He was not going to come off of the bar.
Now, what's critical for him in qualifying for the all-around, Tejada is right behind him. He's a teammate, and of course, only 3 per country can qualify into the all-around.
A 9-1 for Lopez. So an 8-3 and a 9-1 for the Cubans on the high bar. Tejada will be coming up. You just mentioned him. Tejada had a 9-9 in the pommel horse earlier tonight.
Yes. And he's only 0.45 back in the all-around at this point.
Should mention that only 3 from each country can qualify for the all-around. Right now the Cubans are 1, 2, 3, and then the Americans right behind that, with Trent Dimas leading the Americans coming into the 6th rotation.
Tejada is very explosive as well. Comes his release.
Oh, I can't believe this.
He can't either.
I don't know if he's hurt or just upset. Oh. What a shame.
You know, he's married. He has a 5-month-old daughter. I know they're here. The disappointment.
He has had such a great competition.
Wow, and the crowd is cheering him on to finish the routine.
He has been expressive the entire competition, always making faces to the audience or the judges.
He will finish the exercise. He loses a half a point and has to continue from where he fell off. But I've never in my life seen a crowd actually encourage him to get back up there. Oh, wow. Look at that one-arm work.
And the dismount. Double front with a half twist.
Listen to the crowd.
Oh, no, he's heartbroken.
Well, as you mentioned, he was very close to pulling into first in the all-around.
He was sitting 3rd on his team. Of course, Lopez had the mistake before him, but that will probably drop him out.
He has absolutely collapsed off of the podium here in just absolute overwhelmed at this moment.
I've never seen a display of emotion quite like that.
this crowd has been so emotional all week long. I've never in my life seen a crowd get on their feet to help a gymnast back up onto the high bar. Let's see if we can see what happened. This is the Stalder. The release move comes here, and he's just going to be a little bit too far out. Just catches it with his fingertips.
And now
here's a great opportunity to see how close he was.
They give him a 9-2 on that, Bart. A 9-2.
Here's the release. Let's see how close his hands were.
Fingertips.
Just on the end. 6 feet in the air over the bar and miss it by an inch. He continued the exercise with this one-arm work to the eagle giant swings, and a great combination here out of the eagles. Full twisting one-arm giant. And a really unusual dismount. 2 forward flips with a half twist.
I admire him finishing the way he did. You can imagine what was hung up in his gut, and yet he finished as best he could, getting the 9-2.
He thrilled us earlier on pommel horse with a 9.9. Had a great competition.
The irony of it is the Cubans are so far ahead, there's no way they can lose the team competition. But of course, he really wanted this moment to be his moment.
Minicucci on the floor exercise for the United States. 9-1-5. Mourinho was the first guy to experience difficulty. We're going to go back and show you on tape. He was first up on the high bar.
He experienced a similar problem on the release move. This Cuban team is so pumped up, they're actually overdoing some of their moves. That was the Gaylord 2, and he continued through the exercise, but he had to bend his arms severely. Now watch this. Over again.
Wow.
On the second release move.
Hit the same place Tejada did.
The Cubans have had a history of folding in major competitions. They get so charged up that they overdo. They're so powerful, they have the ability to overdo their gymnastic skills.
But he went for it. And right now, he's suffering. We're going to be back as this Cuban team has been something exciting, if not as successful as they wanted to be on the high bar.
Pan American Games, he has won 17 medals, and watch this move coming up right here.
Full twisting Ginger right into the bar.
And another release move again.
I'll tell you what, Bart, I have a feeling all of his teammates have missed their release moves, going too far out, and he was making sure he's in tight.
Good point, Kathy. Really pulling those release moves in close. This crowd erupts when these guys land.
His 4th Pan American Games.
29 years old, 6 feet tall, 180.
And he said, my height poses no problem, but his age is starting to a little bit. But I love his charisma, and it's been a delight to watch him.
He has struggled throughout this competition, but he really dug in at this important moment because the Cubans have had trouble on the high bar, and he pulled his release moves in a little too close, perhaps, but he was going to make sure he caught him.
These are 2 of the most difficult release moves done on high bar.
This one coming up here is 1.5 twists. Watch how close he is.
You can see right here, he's right up above the bar. Comes in on his chest and arm.
His second combination comes out of a one-arm giant swing right here.
This is his move. Oh, and he's in tight again. We're going to get a good shot of this. You can see right where he hits the bar.
Wow, look at the strain on his face. He caught with his right hand and his left armpit.
He's disappointed, but the crowd loves him. He said in an interview he likes to walk down the street because everybody recognizes him. He is a hero of Cuba, and rightfully so. Moments ago, Aguilera was on the high bar. He is having an outstanding competition.
And listen to the crowd on each release move.
Never in my life have I heard an arena this loud for gymnastics. It's like a college basketball game.
Very nice work.
His technique is absolutely superb. Every move topped off right into the handstand.
And watch this dismount and listen to the audience. And they were chanting, I'm sure it was 10, 10.
Safe. Well, he was leading in the all-around, and he scored a 9-9 on that, so he will be the leader in the all-around. 3 of the Cubans will get into it. Let's go live now.
This is Raul Menendez. Boy, is he pretty to watch. What style. Oh.
That's the same move Suarez had done earlier. The twisting finger.
He had a 9-9 in the compulsories on this event.
A second release move, well done. The Cubans are really pouring on the difficulty. They don't hold back at all.
Oh, beautiful form. Full twisting double back.
It's like, can you top this? And the crowd is reacting each time. Cuba, as you can hear in the background. Mike Racanelli getting ready to go on the floor exercise. He's the best at this for the United States. He had a 9-9 in the compulsories.
Can you imagine, as the lone American here, to deal with the pressure of this Cuban crowd chanting Cuba, Cuba?
Open with a beautiful double layout.
Racanelli is a wonderful tumbler. His coach, Peter Corman, at Ohio State, was the bronze medalist in floor exercise in 1976 Olympic Games. He's putting together a great performance considering what he's up against.
Well, he won this event in the NCAAs in 1990. Menendez had a 9.75 on the high bar.
This is a great exercise so far, but why do you get the impression that the crowd isn't even watching him?
Well, the Cuban team has won the gold. All around still up for grabs between the competitors on the U.S. team.
Very nice exercise. Just that one step on the final tumbling run.
What a contrast, the finish of his exercise to minimal applause as opposed to when the Cubans finish.
The Cuban crowd came here tonight expecting to see their native countrymen do an outstanding job. It wasn't all the way they planned it, but everyone realized it was a special moment in gymnastics history. A sellout, standing room only crowd was here to witness the men's optionals. Mike Racanelli with a 9.75. That'll get him in the all-around. The Cubans have won the gold in the men's team competition, setting a new Pan Am record of 580.55. The United States 5 points behind. Mexico in third, 17 points behind. Aguilera, Lopez, and Tejeda will represent Cuba in the all-around that begins on Thursday. And for the United States, Trent Dimas, Mike Racanelli, and Mark Warburton will also move into the all-around competition. For Bart Connor and Kathy Johnson, this is Gary Bender. Let's now go to Nick Charles and Ernie Johnson.
All right, Gary.